Darren Till, I'm sure you saw it, and a friend of yours and someone you respect massively is getting called for now in Carl Froch. Have you spoke to Carl? And if not, do you think we see this fight?
I messaged him and said I like the apple, but I haven't heard anything back. But Carl's probably sitting in his man cave in Nottingham. I might go and see him actually. I'm up in
Yeah.
Nottingham this week, so maybe I'll pop in. But yeah, look, he's a very old friend of mine. We commentated a lot together. We've lived a lot of our lives, sort of, I guess, side by side in many ways. I have so much respect for him. He was a wonderful fighter. He's a very intelligent guy. He's got some YouTube channel going, and look, he can't stay out of the limelight, Carl. He loves it, and look, if the money's right, anything can happen. Callie seemed pretty confident that the fight could happen. Do we want to see it? There'll be mixed feelings, of course, but it will make news, and people will be there, and people will watch it, and maybe I'll carry Carl's bucket or something with his brother Lee. I don't know, but yeah, of course, if he fights Darren Till, I'll be there. I actually really like Darren, and I think he's a fantastic combat sportsman, full stop. And I think he's done ever so well, transferring into Misfits, and that's great. I mean, it's a little bit like Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Jake Paul's can fight and he's having a go and he's decent and we don't know what his level's going to be, but Gervonta Davis is one of the best pound for pound fighters in the last 10 years, but the weight difference is ridiculous and all of those sort of things. So you look at Carl and he's been out a number of years, and but Pfizer doesn't lose it. I mean, I wouldn't have anyone taking Carl Froch on the cobbles. Carl would always be my man on the cobbles. I said to my daughter that she's going to Nottingham, and she's the sweetest girl in the world, and but she's got Lee Wood, Echo Essam, and Carl Froch. She's got plenty of artillery if she needs it. I said one call to Carl, and you don't want to be messing with Carl in first of all in Nottingham and secondly on the cobbles. So yeah, Darren Till will probably want it in a ring, and if Carl Froch has got 20, 30, 40% of what he had, it's going to be, I think it'd be a hard night for Darren Till. But look, it's all about money. It's all about entertainment. I love the fact Darren's calling him out. I love the fact Carl's playing cool, and let's see what happens. Do I really want it to happen? I don't know, not necessarily. Do I really want to see Tyson and Mayweather? If it happens, it happens. But it's business, and they earn money, and that's what it's all about. Carl Froch owes nothing to boxing. He put everything into it, and he's an absolute legend. Darren Till, I think, is a legend in the combat sports world. So put the two together, and people will watch. I'll certainly be saying to Calla I'd like to be in and around the Carl corner.
Definitely. And then let's move on to this weekend. I know you'll be flying out to Belfast soon. Lewis Crocker, Paddy Donovan, first all Irish world title fight. How exciting is that? And again, we've spoken about kind of growing up in boxing and being a child looking at these icons that you see. How good is this for Irish boxing?
I love Ireland. It's like a second home. I holiday in West Cork. Ever since I first started working with like Steve Collins, Wayne McCulloch, whether it's Belfast, Dublin, whether it's Cork, I just love Ireland. I love the people. I love the passion. My hero is Barry McGuigan from Clonus, of course, and I got to see Barry at Loftus Road win the world title. There's something incredible about the Emerald Isle. Obviously, I'm very very close to Katie, and yeah, I love it. And I've watched Paddy Donovan. I've watched them both, Donovan and Crocker, come through, and obviously the first fight was fantastic and controversial, and there had to be a rematch, and now it's for a world title at Windsor Park, a great venue. We saw Carl Frampton there, and it's brilliant, and I cannot wait to be over there. I wish I was there all week, but I'm in Nottingham, making sure my daughter settles into uni and stuff like that. There's other things as well, but I'll be keeping a close eye, and I cannot wait to be over there, Max. There are nothing like Irish fight nights. It's different. There's just the crack and the feel, and they're just Irish eyes are always smiling, and there's a lot of history, a lot of love in Ireland. They get behind their own, and it's brilliant. Rory McIlroy is a big boxing fan, and I don't know where his schedule is. I think was at the Irish Open, and I don't know where he is this week, but I would love to see him ringside. He's been out for a lot of Frampton fights and others, and yeah, look, it's going to be a star-studded occasion, and yeah, it's a great fight, but it's great for Ireland. More of these are needed, and well done for Matchroom for putting on such a fantastic show. Of course, it sort of clashes with the big one with Canelo and Crawford. So it's disappointing not to be able to be in both. But yeah, DAZN have got an amazing schedule, and this is a big world title fight for Ireland and for the world. And it's a great rematch. It's got everything. We love stories, don't we? And this has it all. So yeah, very much looking forward to being over there.
Exactly. And before I touch on Canelo Crawford quickly, someone you are very close to when you mentioned her, do you reckon us getting another Irish world champion gives us more of a chance of the Katie Taylor Croke Park dream by any chance?
When I was in Drina in West Cork a few weeks ago, I popped into the Southern Star, which is the local paper around the sort of Skibbereen and Bantry and Clonakilty area, all down that southwest part of the Emerald Isle. And there's a brilliant writer called Kieran McCarthy, and I occasionally catch up with him, and we did a piece, and it was all about that. And I just want Katie to have that homecoming. I'll be very verbal about Fury and Joshua being the fight that has to happen next year, and again very verbal about two of the two outstanding fighters really of our generation in Alexander Usyk and Katie Taylor, and I'm hoping Usyk at some stage will get that fight in Ukraine, and that it's safe, and that he can fight in front of his people to bow out on. And I think for Katie, I mean, although she rolled back the years and looked like she was 20 something, watching her at the Garden the other week, I saw her on Saturday night, and she looks like she's still young and she could fight on forever. But I just don't think that there's anything else left. There's nothing left to prove, amateur or pro. She could just go now, but the one thing that remains is that huge night in Ireland, whether it's at Croke Park, Park de Cleve down in Cork, whether it's at a sort of Mill Street type place like a festival, a huge open air thing. If they can't do it at one of the stadiums, they do it almost in a like a big, yeah, like a big festival, like a Glastonbury or something, and they just get so many Irish fans there. I'm sure they could get 70, 80, 100,000, maybe even more, just to come out and see Katie Taylor, and a sort of last stand. And if it's like a Chantel Cameron or someone like that, a trilogy fight, that's the perfect dance partner. So yeah, I really want to see Katie fight in Ireland next spring. I spoke to Brian and Thomas the other night about it. Look, I'm hopeful it can happen. It's not down to what we want as broadcasters, of course, but it's down to the Irish authorities. It's down to Eddie. It's down to Brian, and make the dream happen. Make it happen. And I know Katie wants it, so yeah, she'll leave it up to her phenomenal team. And yeah, for me, if I had I mean, whether I'm commentating or not, I would be as close to that ring as possible if and when it happened. And that's the way she should go out. She's arguably the greatest fighter of our generation, of maybe certainly of female fighters of all time. Clarissa Shields would argue, but I think what Katie's done coming from Ireland has been extraordinary. And yeah, you can look at Floyd Mayweather's probably the best fighter I've ever seen live and commentated on. Joe Calzaghe is close up there. It's always going to be subjective, but what Katie Taylor's done, and this is my friendship aside, objectively, winning five world amateur titles, six European, Olympic gold, and then just what she's done as a pro, unified, undisputed, different weights. It just speaks for itself, doesn't it? Everything. And to be such a lovely, humble young woman as well at the same time. You just don't get it. And you go around Ireland and everybody talks about her. I don't think anyone has got a bad word to say about Katie. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say a bad word about Katie Taylor, whether it's an opponent, whether it's a fan, whether it's just a journalist, no one. And that's really rare in boxing. So you put that alongside all her achievements, the greatest sports person to ever come out of Ireland, arguably. And I think most of the other great sportsmen and women would agree, for the fact she battled through to become a fighter and dressed up as a boy. The whole story is one that will never be repeated. So yeah, I hope that she gets her final dance at Croke Park, or the equivalent next spring or summer.